Why did you guys move so fast?
All right, here we go. So, I want us to have Lightroom open. Today we're going to be learning about smart collections. We talked about collections before, and the collections that we utilized were essentially used so that we could reorganize our photos in any order we wanted to. We mainly used that for the review assignment so that the review photos were in the correct order, right? Smart collection is going to basically be set up so that anytime you keyword and rate a photo in a specific way, it will automatically be added to this collection. And this collection is going to be the beginnings of our AP portfolio. So, let's go ahead and go to the collections. So we need to be in Lightroom. We're going to Library. Under Library is where we do all of our storing and organizing of the photos. So that's what we're doing right now. We're trying to store and organize our photos. Okay, so we're going over to collections. Now, one thing that I did notice is that many of you stopped using the method for putting photos onto your computer that I taught you in the beginning of the year. And so your folders are a bit messy. If you remembered in the beginning of the year, I said when we put photos, we're to put them into the unedited photos folder first before we even open Lightroom. So all of your photos should have been copied into there, into folders named after the projects, and then once they're in that folder, in those folders named after projects, then we import them to Lightroom, which is what that should look like. Some of you, because you stuck in a memory card and Lightroom open, and you're like, oh, okay, and you hit import, it still copied your photos to the computer, which is great, but then it started organizing them by date. So you have a bunch of like 2023, some of you have like 2019, and so we just forgot the method of organizing our photos, so it got a little messy. So you're gonna have to kind of do a little more work to sift through your photographs because it got messy over there. But it can be done still. All right. Under collections, we're going to hit the plus icon here. We're going to create a smart collection. We're going to call this AP Portfolio Essential Question. Don't put a space after it. Lightroom hates it when you put a space after the last word. All right. Okay, so now it asks, do we want to put it inside a collection set? We're not worried about that at this point. It must match all of the following. So we're setting up some rules for Lightroom to look for when it starts analyzing our photos. Okay? So, rating is greater than or equal to, and let's go ahead and put 5 stars. So we want our best work only showing up in this particular folder. Okay, we're going to add another criteria to this. So go ahead and hit plus. This time we're going to change rating and we're going to say other metadata, keywords. And the keyword, we're going to try and come up with something do we want to put final? What do we want to put as our keyword? What's going to keyword a photo as this one is my AP portfolio photo? Sure. So, I mean, it could be something related to my question, but if I was keywording that way, all of my photos that I've taken as of the last 2 assignments could be keyworded that. So I just want something easy that I wouldn't use that keyword for anything else.
Like makeup over.
Final's good? Okay, you choose your word. Kenna, what are we going to use? You want to use final?
Okay.
Okay. Okay, so Kenna is not going to use that word for anything else except for her AP Portfolio essential question. Okay, go ahead and hit create. Now you'll notice that it has 0 photos included in that smart collection right now. So we're going to go and find one of her photos. So let's go find your best photo that fits your essential question, Kenna. Okay? So all she has to do now is make sure this is 5-star rated. So go ahead and hit 5 on your keyboard or click there, that works too. So now it's 5-star rated, but it still wasn't added to the collection because we did not type the word final into keywording. So go ahead and type final, hit return, there we go. Okay, so now her AP Portfolio essential question has 1 photo in it because it now meets that criteria. So just as long as you remember to rate your photos and put them in there, right? Now we could probably put it at 4 stars or less, and that will add a bunch, and then as I get to my actual AP Portfolio and I go, oh, I'm not sure which ones I want to include, I can start to go through them a little bit more easily because as you take photographs, I mean, Kenna's at 114 photographs right now in her entire collection. That starts to get a little overwhelming, right? I don't want to have to sit and look at 114 photographs when I know a number of them are not my best work. So you can adjust the settings on that particular one to make sure that you're including your best, but maybe it's not, maybe you haven't arrived at which ones am I actually going to send the AP College Board, right? So I can adjust the settings on that. Maybe I put 4 stars to begin with, and then I go through them, make the best ones 5 stars, I narrow it down to my top 15, and then I'm done. Okay? So we need another collection. Does anybody remember what else we're turning into College Board? There are 2 types of photos we're turning in. One is the 15 that fit your essential question, and the other is
Best word.
the 5 best. Okay, good. So let's go ahead and create a new question. So this is another smart collection. So this is going to be AP Portfolio 5 best. Okay, so for this one, yes, 5 stars is great. Under keywords, we're going to hit minus. We don't actually want a keyword applied to this. We're just going to hit that for now. And then eventually, what you can do is go through this and say, okay, I'm going to start sifting through these. And I'm going to start keywording which ones I think are my best. So let's leave that at 5 stars and hit create. Let's go back to the AP Portfolio Essential Question. Let's right-click on that one and hit Edit Smart Collection. And let's make this 4 stars. Okay, so that way 5 stars represents my 5 best. I will only rate the best possible photographs 5 stars. My essential question can be 4 stars or more. And then they have to have the word final in there, and that'll start to build her AP Portfolio. Now, she does have to be careful because in the AP Portfolio 5 best, I rated my own photos 5 stars a couple times. So if my photos are showing up in your 5 best, you might want to hit 0 stars on those and remove them from your. Yeah, just lowering the star rating on that will get rid of them from that particular folder. Okay, do something else. Let's go to the print screen, and I need to see what print presets you guys have. So if I look at Kenna's print screen, she has a 5x7 preset, and that's it. Is that what we all have? 5x7? Okay. So we need 2 more print presets today because you're not going to print 5x7 today. You're going to print either 8x10 or 16x20. I have to make a decision on who's going 16x20 and who's going 8x10. Okay. So let's start this off. Go ahead and start by clicking on the 5x7 preset. There we go. So the 5x7 preset starts us off with some of the correct settings on the right-hand side, but now we need to adjust for the 8x10 settings. So that was our starting point. Now we can click on Page Setup. Under Page Setup, this is where we get to select which printer we're printing to and what paper size we're printing on. So we are printing to the Canon Pro 1000, but the paper size is going to change. So that's where we're going to select there. Choose 8x10 borderless. All right, there's 8x10 borderless. Go ahead and hit OK. Let's see how that adjusts. So clearly, it's keeping the image 5x7, so now I've got to adjust those settings. So if I come over to Layout, I'm going to change my cell size so that it says 10 by 8. There we go. Now this is naturally cropping because we have the zoom to fill feature on. So if you have a 4:6 aspect ratio photo, it's going to cut off the top and bottom of the photograph. Kenna, is yours 4:6 or is it 8x10?
I think it's
Click and drag on it, see what you see.
click and drag on it.
Yeah, just move it around. Can you move it around? No? Okay, then it's 8x10 already. Click on your other one. I think that one's 4:6.
Yeah.
Okay, so if it is 4:6, meaning it's taller than an 8x10, right? You can actually move it around on here to see where it's cropping. If you really hate where it's cropping, which actually for Kenna's, she might hate where it's cropping because it's cutting off her face in at least one of the positions, right? Really the only way to fix that is to use the generative crop, generative expand in Photoshop. And so here's where we get into dancing the fine line with AP Portfolio. You'd probably turn in a 4:6, and I'm okay with that. So I wouldn't worry about adding a generative crop so it prints out the way you want it to look. But I would keep another copy of this so that you didn't use any AI on it whatsoever. So that this one retains its original size. Because as far as the AP Portfolio is concerned, they don't care what size it is. I care because my printer only prints out certain sizes, my frames only fit certain sizes, and so we need to keep it traditional sizes. So if I were Kenna and I were printing this out, I would probably make another version, do a generative expand, and that way she doesn't cut off any one of her faces. Okay, so we've got an 8x10 set up here, which means we now need to save it so we can always come back to it, right? So we're going to come up to the template browser and click plus. We're going to call this 8x10. Hit create. And now we can switch between any one of those three. So go ahead and click on them, and it should show you the difference between a contact sheet, an 8x10, and a 5x7. Okay? So we need one more, and that's going to be our 16x20. So we're going to start with the 8x10, and we're going to do the same process over again. The difference is my paper is not actually 16x20, so we have to choose something slightly different. So let's go ahead and hit Page Setup again. We're going to come to the paper sizes, and we're going to go down to where it says 17x22. It's the ANSI C, ANSIC. And you can do borderless, that's fine. We're not actually gonna print all the way to the edge of the paper, though. Anybody have a hard time finding that particular paper size? We're good? Okay, hit okay. So now it's tiny on that page, so the same thing needs to happen again. We're gonna expand our cell size so that it fills that particular page. Actually, sorry, no, I lied, don't fill it. 16 by 20 is what we want. So make it 20 by 16. That's correct, okay. Now that we've got our 16 by 20 set, let's go ahead and hit plus again, call it 16 by 20. And now you can switch between the 4 presets that we have over there, and we've got it set. Okay, the trouble with 16 by 20 is you will have to trim off the white border so it fits into a 16 by 20 frame, but the 16 by 20 frames look cool. You can look around the classroom, you see mostly 16 by 20s, a few 8 by 10s. All right, so what am I doing with the rest of the day? Number 1, you're going to select your photo that you want to print for the art show this Thursday. You're going to send it to print and get my approval first, because I need to approve whether it's 8 by 10 or 16 by 20. Number 2, you're going to fill out one of the tags that I post to Google Classroom. So I'm going to go do that right now. I'm going to post your tags to Google Classroom. It's in a document. You have to double click on the tag. You're going to put your name, the title of your artwork, all the stuff we talked about last week. That's what you've got to post to the tag. All right. Stop this guy.